right, what else we got here? This is interesting, and this sort of ties in with what we're talking about. I'm wondering what it's very interesting. You've got this satellite that NASA was. Well, I'll just read the article. $534 million launch of NASA's Glory satellite. What? The Glory Hole satellite? No, not the Glory Hole satellite. Oh, the Glory satellite. NASA's Glory Hole satellite. We're going to stick penises through a hole in outer space to aliens. The launch of NASA's Glory satellite was abandoned earlier today, 5 minutes before takeoff due to engineering problems. The $424 million mission, good God. Who's footing the bill for that one? You and I. $424 million mission has been postponed until tomorrow, the same day that the Discovery will make its final ride into orbit. Officials at a military base in Central California delayed the launch of the Taurus XL rocket, which is carrying an Earth observation satellite. Earth observation satellite. Is that a fancy word for spy satellite? What an Earth? Is that what they're calling it now? Well, we don't call them keyhole satellites anymore. No, we don't call them spy satellites. We call them Earth observation satellites. It's a politically correct, very friendly, very fluffy name. The Glory Hole observation satellite. Yes, we are going to watch aliens. It's the new porn fad we're bringing to America. Yes, watch dicks get swung at aliens from satellites and beat off to it. Yes. The Earth Observation Glory Hole satellite. As they met with some last-minute technical difficulties. Well, okay, so right there it just says it's an Earth observing satellite. And it says the rocket is slated for a 3-year mission to analyze how airborne particles affect the Earth's climate. What? Airborne particles? This is a fucking chemtrail monitoring satellite. No. Seriously, straight the fuck up. Dude, this is hilarious. Man, these motherfuckers ain't hiding shit anymore. I'm going to put a link to this in the chat room for you. You guys got to look at this. No shit. You guys have to look at this article. Scroll down and look at the picture in the middle of the page. This is unbelievable. It says right here, launching on Wednesday, Glory will investigate the role of aerosol particles. Now, see, the other one just said airborne particles. The little picture says aerosol particles. Well, that's what chemtrails are. They're aerosol. They're aerosol particles. My God, this is a chemtrail. They're launching a $424 million chemtrail monitoring satellite. This is a huge story. Has anybody else got this story out? Does anybody out there have a story written up right now that says $424 million chemtrail observing satellite put up by NASA? Because if not, we need to write one and get it out because that's what this is. My goodness, I can't believe I just stumbled on this. Let me read it. Launching on Wednesday, Glory will investigate the role of aerosol particles in the Earth's atmosphere and how it affects climate change. My God! The aerosol pellimetry sensor will collect global aerosol distribution based on measurement of light reflected within the Earth's atmosphere. Oh my God, this is it. This is what I was just talking about. They're seeing how much is there and how much they need to spray in order to create the shield to keep all these fucking particles from the sun because of the activity it's going through from coming down to Earth and killing everything there. That's what it's been about all along, hadn't it? That's what it's been about. And they knew that if they told people that the sun was heating up and could wipe everything out, their power structure would fall. So they had to keep it a secret. They've been doing, oh man, this is unbelievable. That's why they've been doing this all along. I knew it had to be something like this, but then they sell us on this idea of phony global warming, right? And this idea that all our SUVs, so they jack the prices of their resources up so they can use that money to pad these operations that they're keeping in secret. All about keeping the religious power structure in place, all about keeping the New World Order in place. They keep that all in place, and then they sell us on this idea of phony global warming and get us all behind that. And meanwhile, what are we doing? We're buffering their coffers. That's what we're doing. This explains the financial collapse. This explains everything. All resources now are going towards this mitigation technology to basically keep the Earth from having everything destroyed on it. Because, not that maybe that's the right thing is supposed to happen. Maybe we are cyclically supposed to be wiped out and destroyed. But see, not on these people's watch. Not on the watch of the New World Order. They're going to keep this thing in place. This is an unbelievable story. Wow. This is a chemtrail observing satellite, folks. Total Irradiance Monitor will measure the amount of solar radiation in the Earth's atmosphere over a period of time with unsurpassed accuracy. God damn, there it is. Oh, man. Oh, this is unbelievable. I can't believe I was just talking about this. God damn. That's the next story I went to. I didn't even realize it. I didn't read it earlier when I saw this article. I just thought it looked interesting. I love when that happens. God damn. That is unbelievable, man. Look at that picture. Everybody save a copy of the image. Right click and save image on that in the middle of that page, because that's a that's a picture you're going to want to have later. Unbelievable. It says right there that it measures the amount of solar radiation in the Earth's atmosphere, folks. So they're measuring the amount of radiation in the Earth's atmosphere. They're emitting that, and they're monitoring how many aerosols are there and how it affects the climate, the hot or cold. My God. I was right. That's what it is. That's what it is. That's what I've thought, man. All my years of studying chemtrails, videos of doing it, my sister doing it. Oh my God. That's what it's been all along. Everything, all available resources are going towards, that's why they canceled the space program. That's why companies are going out there. All available resources they can get, they are pushing towards this technology to keep their power structure in place. You know, not that maybe, what if this is supposed to happen? What if we were supposed to evolve past these? That's why I can't see the good in this. You know, people argue with me and say, well, you know, if they're keeping us alive, then why do you have a problem with it? Because who is deciding for us that this is the way it's supposed to be? That's my problem with it. How do we know this isn't something where there's supposed to be a cleansing by fire or something? What if this is supposed to be, the Earth is supposed to be bombarded with radiation, so we'll ascend up to light beings, to 12-strand DNA activation, as those that had been altered by heat. The theory that has developed is that asteroids in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter may have produced smaller meteorites which have shot off into space and landed on Earth. No, there weren't any things that blew up or anything and crammed to Earth. No, not at all. This also has implications for how our solar system and possibly other solar systems form. But anyway, blah, blah, blah. They've rolled this story out 10 or 15 times now, and you have to assume they have an agenda when they try to push it into the consciousness of people that much. Minority Report style shopping. That's what everybody wants, isn't it? That's the American dream, right? Walking into a store and hologram popping up and knowing exactly what you want right when you walk into the store. That's the American dream, right? It sounds like a scene straight out of Minority Report. Advertisers are developing digital posters which will recognize people's faces and respond if they are paying attention. Cameras attached to the billboards will scan to see if passersby are looking and immediately change their display to keep them watching. The posters recall the famous scene in the 2002 science fiction thriller Minority Report. Well, why don't you reference Philip K. Dick first? Before you point out the 2002 movie with Tom Cruise, why don't you first talk about the Philip K. Dick novel that it was based on? How about that? I'm sorry, it just pisses me off. Let's talk about the movie first. Oh, there's a movie. I made a book out of that movie, huh? So people always say, oh, they made a book out of it too. Well, I guess if you're a reader, that's a good thing. I ain't a reader much. The scanners also pick him up when he enters a Gap store and show him an image of a woman selling clothes. So far, the most advanced posters allow shoppers to see what clothes would look like on them by superimposing the items on a digital picture of themselves. What we are trying to do is figure out what your brain is doing, said Benjamin Palmer, chief executive of advertisers of the Barbarian Group. I can't even believe I just read that. His group is called the Barbarian Group. What the fuck? Let me post that quote there. What we are trying to figure out is what your brain is doing, said Benjamin Palmer, Chief executive advertisers of the Barbarian Group. Oh, I mean, you know what I'm saying right about now. My God. That is a hell of a business name. Benjamin Palmer, old Benji Palmer. Sounds like a name for a fucking, I don't know, a Tijuana treat or something with some $5 handy. Benjamin Palmer, Chief of Executive Officer of the Barbarian Group. What we're trying to do is figure out what your brain is doing. Yeah, that's exactly what I want to hear from somebody in advertising. My God. I'm glad Bill Hicks is dead already. He'd be blowing advertisers' brains out right now if he heard this. He's going on a killing spree. Jesus. I mean, we're really there, aren't we? That's just out in the open. Yeah, my God. Ladies and gentlemen, we have advertisers, people in advertising now. Chief executive here, chief executive of advertising for the Barbarian Group, who says his direct quote is, what we're trying to do is figure out what your brain is doing, so that then we can manipulate that. If your eyes are the window into the soul, we're paying attention to what you're paying attention to. What? That's the quote after the aforementioned quote. He says, if your eyes are the window to the soul, we're paying attention to what you're paying attention to. So he just said right there, we want to know what your brain is doing so we can look into your soul. That's what, is that not what he pretty much just said right there? We want to figure out what your brain is doing so that we can pay attention to what you're doing so we can look into your soul and see how we can sell you products. Barbarian hopes this summer to introduce billboards which respond if you are paying attention. But other executives have spoken of developing technology that actually recognizes faces. If you raise your eyebrow, it can track that. Facial recognition technology has been around for some years, but only now is it heading to the shops because it is affordable to do so. The systems can detect frowning or nodding and could identify individuals raising potential privacy concerns. If you want to do something evil with it, I'm sure you could. It's the same thing with anything else technology-wise. Right, so now if you are a person of interest and you happen to go in somewhere where they have one of these facial recognition things at, well, they'll scan your face and they'll send somebody to escort you to one of their wonderful holding facilities, I'm sure, where they serve gumdrops and lollipops all day. Anyway, let's continue on here. See what else we have in the news. Oh, this has got to be the raddest thing I've seen all day. Boba Fett plays the Legend of Zelda song on an accordion in a subway. That's nerdalicious. Absolutely nerdalicious. Boba Fett plays the Legend of Zelda on an accordion in a subway. That is a sentence I can honestly say at 34 years old, I probably thought I'd never get to say. So I had to say it. Boba Fett plays the Legend of Zelda theme on an accordion in a subway. Thank you very much. It's just a sentence you never get to say in life, What was the old George Carlin bit where he said, well, here's a sentence you'll never hear. Honey, I'm going to go into the other room and stick a red hot poker up my ass. Shit like that is just, well, I cut my own balls off. I'll be back in a minute. Shit like that you're never going to hear. Words you're never going to hear put it in a sentence together. It's greatness. All right, let me go through my rest of my stacker. Oh, hippies rejoice. VW unveils a new version of the microbus. Oh, shit, they're bringing the microbus back. I can smell the patchouli and the hippie stink from here. Come on, people now. Smile on your brother. Everybody get together. Try to love one another right now. All the metrosexual hippies will be all over this. U.S. astronauts to bottle space for Japan. Why are they bottling space? I didn't think you could bottle space. Oh, I forgot. Space is actually water. It's not a vacuum. I think it is. I think it's actually like, I mean, every time you see these pictures from the space shuttle of those things in space, like the space serpents on it, look like they're gliding through water. And what about that footage of the Chinese spacewalk that looked fake? That everybody said it was the China faking their spacewalk, and you could see bubbles coming up. I mean, are they been lying to us? Is space actually not a vacuum and actually like water? I don't know. 2 American astronauts begin on Monday the first of 2 spacewalks to install a permanent spare closet on the orbiting International Space Station and also to bottle some outer space for Japan. How can you bottle outer space? The unusual project is part of a team effort with Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, JAXA, to open up a metal cylinder that has been signed by other artists, astronauts, and bring it back for public display. The so-called message in a bottle experiment, in which they will expose a metal canister to capture the vacuum of space, is planned for the end of a 6-hour experiment. How can you capture a vacuum into a container? I'm just confused by that. Anybody out there got any ideas? Anybody?